In my first year as a graphics designer, I googled so many ridiculous things. How to know if this career isn't for you? How do you even know that this is worth it? Is graphics design a profession you should go to? You know that moment where you are staring at blank canvas at 2 a.m. and wondering if you are actually creative or just someone who knows how to move shapes around in Illustrator. During my first year, I didn't just have a bad day. I had a I'm selling my laptop, I'm moving to the farm month. If you are feeling the burnout or the sting of a harsh critique, here's the honest truth about why I almost walked away and why I'm glad I didn't. Hi, I'm Deborah, a graphic and brand designer, and today I want to talk honestly about my first year in graphics design, part nobody glamorizes. Because online, for those genius creatives you usually admire, everything looks polished, but behind the scenes, it's a different story. That first year of being a professional graphics designer is a humbling experience. I came into this thinking I'll spend my days with created wood boards, picking the perfect typography, having fun, feeling relaxed. Instead, I spent most of it staring at the blank space and questioning every life choice that led me to depend to. If you are currently in this situation and you are thinking about throwing your laptop out the window, you are not alone. So let's talk about why I almost quit. First is the creative gap between my eyes and my hand. I had a great taste. I knew what a good design looked like, but everything I produced wasn't looking like it. I realized I was stuck in what Ira Glass calls the gap. My taste was at a 10, but my technical skill was at a 3. Closing that gap was a bit difficult because it wasn't only about the talent, it was about sheer volume of work. For this situation, I learned that skill is a lagging indicator of taste. You will have to be willing to make bad art for a while to get the good stuff. The second thing I struggled with was imposter syndrome, which was on steroids. Oh my god. Scrolling through Pinterest or Behance in your first year is a dangerous game. I see 19 years old creating 3D masterpiece while I was still struggling to align 3 text boxes. I felt like I wasn't enough. I didn't realize that comparing my level 1 to someone's level 30 was the fastest way to burn out. And let's be real for a moment. Half of those masterpieces you see on Pinterest aren't even real clients' work. They are passion projects with no deadlines, no budgets, no clients asking for those crazy effects. Stop comparing your real world struggle to someone's created fantasy. You are comparing your own raw footage to everyone else highlighted reel. Nobody posts the 40 rejected sketches or the 3 times they cried because the file didn't save. They only post the win. If you are struggling with imposter syndrome, I actually made a deep dive video on exactly how I overcame it. Ensure you watch it. And also, I confused slow growth with failure. Growth in creative work is subtle. Your eyes improve before your hands catches up. Your taste becomes sharper before your skill matches it. And that gap feels painful, but that gap is actually proof you are developing. I remember the first time a client actually approved a video on the first draft. I didn't feel like a genius. I just realized that I finally learned to listen better than I designed. And that was the moment I realized I can actually do it. But the technical wall is actually what makes you want to mash your keyboard. So let's talk about the tool overload trap. I thought I had to master Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign, After Effects, Figma, and Blender all in week 1. The sheer volume of software updates and new plugins made me feel like I was already behind. And to fix this, I just stopped trying to learn every button and start focusing on design fundamentals, which are the typography, the hierarchy, the color theories, all those. Tools change, but principles don't. And let's not even talk about the jack of all trade burnout. I thought being a graphic designer meant I have to be a master of logo and brand identity design, UI, UX and website design, motion graphics and After Effects design, high-end Illustrator graphics and social media management, all those stuff. Trying to learn everything at once meant I was mastering nothing. I was spreading myself so thin that I lost the joy of actually creating. And then there's also the business aspect. In my first year doing graphics design as a business, critique felt like a personal attack. The first time a client tore apart a logo I spent hours working on, I did just feel annoyed. I felt it in my soul. I felt they were saying that I was bad, not the work. I remember this one project, let's call the client X. I sent over a brand concept I was so convinced was award-winning. I have waited days for a reply, and when it finally hit my inbox, it was one sentence. This feels a bit off. Can we try something more poppy? I spent the next 48 hours spiraling. I thought, maybe I'm just not good enough. Maybe I don't even actually know what good is. The reality I discovered is that design is a service. It's not just self-expression. I had to detach my ego from my layers, from my designs. I realized that client X was not attacking my talent. We were failing to communicate a business needs. And once I stopped seeing my work as my baby and started seeing it as a tool to solve a problem, the weight on my shoulder disappeared. And not just my design. If a client hates the blue I picked, they don't hate me, they just hate that specific blue. And in my first year, I was experiencing this weird situation in which I was underpaid, but I was still overworking. I mean, let's be honest, early clients can humble you. I said yes to low budgets because I just wanted the experience. I over-delivered because I was insecure. I attached my words to every feedback comment. It drained me. I even did free designs for people. Oh my god. All this drained me. And not because the design was bad in itself, but because I had no boundaries. But then I still stayed, which is why I'm here today. I realized that everyone starts out messy. The gap between your taste and your skills is supposed to be there. That's what pushes you to get better. I stopped trying to be a pro and just trying to be 1% less frustrated than I was yesterday. I also realized that the frustration wasn't a sign that I was a bad designer. It was just a signal that I was growing. Design is hard because it matters. It's the bridge between a messy idea and a clear solution. In this era, we have AI tools that can generate a layout in seconds. Everyone is scared of AI taking design jobs, but AI can't have a heart-to-heart with a founder who is terrified their business is failing. AI can move pixels, but we move emotions. That's why I stayed. To the first-year designer, that I want to quit feeling, it's usually just the growing pains of your talents catching up to your ambition. So keep clicking. If you are in your first year and you feel like quitting, take a break. Close the laptop, walk away from the screen. Your worth is not defined by a vector path. Your work is supposed to be messy right now. That's how you learn where the edges are. Don't quit before the click happens. If you are in your first year and you feel the burnout, this is your sign to keep going. The undo button exists for a reason, not just for your canvas, but for your bad days too. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful and you've watched it to this stage, comment "I will not give up." If you think my first year was a mess, you should see these specific mistakes that I made by watching this video right here. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one.